Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. It's time that I'm going to have to fix the red cabbage. So I'm going to start out with 6 heads and I'm going to fully cook it before I freeze it. Alright, there are my 6 heads. And I've got a whole bunch more in the garage. So what I'm going to do is completely cook it. I really don't do any blanching. I figure as long as you're going to be doing something with the hot water or whatever, you just might as well go ahead and cook it, because I can't see any difference between what was just blanched and then you have to cook it when you take it out of the freezer, or when it's completely cooked. Now, maybe y'all know of some vegetables that work differently, but it's been my experience that you might as well go ahead and cook it. Now, I don't freeze like green beans. I actually buy those at Aldi's or buy them canned, because I don't think they turn out very well in the freezer, and I don't do any canning. So anyway, back to the red cabbage. What I'm going to do is fix it in the pressure cooker. Here's my pressure cooker, and I'm going to try to be able to do at least 3 heads. Now, this is the way I do it, okay? When you get the red cabbage, I mean, when you get it in the store, all those outer leaves are already peeled off, but when you get it at the farmer's market, it's just like it came from the field. So I take all of those outer leaves off until I get to the shiny leaves. Now, those outer leaves, actually, you can actually feel that. It's like, I don't know, dirt. I don't know what it is, but you can actually feel a sandy type texture on those outer leaves. And they're probably the healthiest leaves, but I don't use them. Alright, so we're going to try to get down to the completely shiny leaves. That's pretty close right there. See how shiny that is? Now, I'm going to cut the bottom off anyway, so this little part on the leaves doesn't bother me. But anyway, let me just show you one I've already got ready to shred up. Now, I cut that inner, I first cut it in half. Well, let me just show you. That'll be better. Yeah, I'll just show you. Alright, so that whole bottom section, a big hunk of it, I'm just going to cut right off. Now, this cabbage was super fresh a week ago, and really it's still pretty fresh. Alright, so then I'm going to turn it over and sit it flat. I'm going to right down the middle of it, or as close to the middle as I can get. Alright, that wasn't the middle, but that'll work. Then I cut that section, and then I'm going to cut out that little inner core there. Alright, let's do this one, because there's the core right there. I missed it. Alright, just cut right down the middle of that. And then I'm just going to cut that core out, along with those really tough bottom leaves. Alright, so now we'll cut this section out. Alright, now I'm going to shred it somewhat. And I moved my pot over here because I only am going to fix as much as will fit in my pressure cooker. So I've cut the pieces ½ an inch or so thick right down one of the quarters of the cabbage head. Alright, just throw that in. And I'm really hoping to be able to get 2 heads of the red cabbage in my pressure cooker. And again, what I do is actually wash it a couple of times while it's in the pressure cooker. That way I don't have to, use another dish pan to wash it. I'm just going to take this little leaf off. See all that white on there? If you actually rub on it, you can actually feel, I don't know what it is, but anyway, I don't use it. Now, I was reading up about red cabbage the other day, and I found out some of the nutrients in it, particularly the cancer-fighting elements in it, start kind of deteriorating just as soon as the cabbage is cut. So you probably need to fix it, you know, just as quick as you can. And of course, really the best way the healthiest way to eat it would probably be to make coleslaw. In fact, I want to show you the coleslaw I made. We got a little bit left. So I made this a couple of days ago. And this, of course, is raw cabbage. Can you see that? And I put an apple in it and a little mayonnaise, a little sugar, salt, and of course the apple. And anyway, we like it really, really well. Really well. I make it just exactly like I make my regular coleslaw. Only it's a lot prettier. Alright, I'm only going to get like 1.5 heads of cabbage in this pressure cooker. Alright, because you're really only supposed to fill your pressure cooker about 2/3 full. So there it is. I'm going to wash this at the sink in the same pot, and then we'll be back when I put it on to cook. I'm going to only add about 3/4 of a cup of water to this cooker, and then I'm going to bring it up to pressure. And anyway, we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we've gotten the red cabbage all washed, and I was able to get 1.5 heads of cabbage in my pressure cooker. Alright, now I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of water, and by the way, this is all washed and ready. And I did wash it in this pot, so I didn't have to mess up anything else. We're going to go ahead and put the lid on it. Sure that my seal is properly located in there in the rim. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put our little tab on, and I put it on where it says 0. And once the steam, well I'm going to put it on the little sign for the steam here. So once the steam's rising up about that far in a steady stream, about maybe 6 inches above here, then I will turn it to the number 2 indicator, and I'll start timing it. And I'll time it so that it cooks for no more than 2 minutes. And I do have my burner up on high. Alright, when this gets ready, we'll be back. Okay, now the steam is coming up in a steady stream up above the pressure cooker. So now I'm going to turn and get it without getting burned. See, my little safety valve is closed. So now I'm going to turn it and make that pressure build up in the pressure cooker, and I'm going to start timing it. And that buzzer is a sweet potato pie in the oven. I'll be right back. Alright, my cabbage has cooked for 2 minutes and with the pressure up high. Now I'm going to plunge it down into a sink of cold water to get that pressure to stop, because I want the cooking to stop like right now. Now you can run a little stream of cold water over the top of it also, as long as you don't let it kind of get in that little place right there. Can y'all see that? Cut that light on. Alright, just going to run a little water over it. And what I'm waiting for is this little purple pressure, I don't know if y'all can see that, to go down. It just went down. So that means I can release this now. And this is just a safety feature. So once you take this off, any remaining steam would come out. You don't want to take it off too soon, because it'll blow like this. The hot steam will go right up in your face. So now let's go ahead and take the lid off. We know it's safe. And there's what it looks like. Now it's not totally super tender, because you don't want it to, be so tender that it just falls apart. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'll move y'all over so you can see this. Well, maybe I'll just move it back. Alright, hang on. Alright. Now I'm going to dump it out in this pan. Back y'all up a little bit. and I'm going to let it cool. Now, of course, there's not much water in this, but there is some. All right, let me see if I can get all that out. All right. Now we're going to let this cool down, and then we'll load it into the little freezer cartons. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the next batch. So it looks like I'm going to be doing this 2 more times to be able to freeze the 6 heads of the red cabbage. And again, there's no seasoning whatsoever on this, because I'm just going to freeze it just like it is. And then when I get ready to fix it for a meal, I'll put whatever on it I want, you know, like a little vinegar, some nutmeg, maybe a little cinnamon, and a little brown sugar. And then we'll sort of have like German red cabbage. All right, so we're going to let this cool, and I'm going to go ahead and do my next batch. And when we get ready to put these in the cartons, we'll be back. Okay, I have just finished all of the steaming or cooking in the pressure cooker of this red cabbage, and now I'm ready to start loading it into some freezer cartons. Now I'm going to start with the one that I did first, because this one is already cool. So I freeze it in cartons that would be enough for 2 people, because there's just 2 of us here. So I'm just going to use my hands and load it in. This is definitely cool now. Now I'm going to end up freezing this in my freezer over the refrigerator, because it's my refrigerator, of course, is a frost-free kind, and so the freezer has a fan in it, and so these will freeze a lot faster. Plus, I don't want to add this much unfrozen stuff to my big freezer. All right. Let me set these over here. Load them up. And I do kind of cram it down in here. Now the little bit of water that's in the bottom of the pan, I'm going to pour over the cabbage. So I'll have a little bit of that water that's cooked out of the cabbage, because I'm sure that has vitamins and minerals in it also. Now, of course, we know that the darker the vegetable, the more nutritious it is for you. So I would think that red cabbage, or purple cabbage, is one of the superfoods. I don't know that for sure, I'm just guessing, but all right, so that little bit of juice that was in there, I'm going to pour right into these little cartons. All right. So it looks like I'm going to get 4, maybe 5 cartons per pan over here, so I would guess I'll have 16, maybe 18 servings for 2 people. So I'm just going to mash that down in there. And I got these little cartons are Rubbermaid, and I got them several years ago. So when we use up one of these, you know, for a meal, we just put these little cartons right in the dishwasher on the top rack. So this is Rubbermaid, and it's called tag-alongs, and I think these are the same kind that people get to take sandwiches for lunch or whatever, but they work great in the freezer. Now, when we get ready to use these, what I do is simply take the lid off, put it in the microwave on defrost for, you know, probably maybe 6-8 minutes, and then I go ahead and do whatever I'm going to do with it. I want to show you all this over here. Oh, there are my dogs. See this big pan over here? That contains the cabbage leaves. And I can tell you we don't put those in our compost bin. And the reason we don't is because they smell to high heaven. They really do. And it takes a week or so for them to stop smelling. And one time we actually had one of our neighbors complained about the smell, so this was several years ago. So we don't put cabbage in our compost bin now. We also don't put any kind of animal product in there, but the cabbage does have an odor when it starts decomposing. So this scrap leaves and the cores of this red cabbage are going to go in the outside garbage can in a plastic bag, and the garbage people will pick it up in a couple of days, which will be real good, okay? All right, so there are my freezer cartons. It's going to go in the little freezer over the refrigerator to get them frozen really quick. Then I'll add them to the large freezer. All right, so that's it on the red cabbage. This pan is still a little warm, and this pan I just took up, so we'll let those cool probably 15-20 minutes. Then we'll load them up, and we're going to have probably 16 to 18 servings out of the 6 heads of red cabbage, which I got very cheap at the farmer's market. Okay, I hope y'all will try this. It works really, really well for a quick meal, and gives you some diversity of vegetables, and you do all the work when you're freezing it, so then when you're having it for a meal, you can get it ready pretty quick. All right, see y'all next time.